Greetings, Saber fans. It's your old pal Megtooth Sith, and we're live. And I see you guys already carrying on a conversation. Oh, let's see. Somebody said Mon Mothma, Papa Boba Fett, Main the Third says favorite Saber if you could only have one. Graflex. Leia's for me, which is cool. I got a Leia Saber on the way, so I'm pretty excited to get that hilt here. Kenny K said he was hoping to ask about drilling switch holes. You know what the funny thing is? Kenny K is, I have a video about doing some machining on hilts, not necessarily for switch holes, but it works. It's on my YouTube channel. If you go, it's one of my more recent videos I published. So if you go to my YouTube channel and click on all videos, you should see that, you know, some basic machining videos. Yeah, Ron, sorry. I had a bad day today. For some reason, Mondays have been, I've been having bad luck on Mondays. So that's kind of like crazy. Hey, Michael Dallin, congrats. Hey, we just came on, so you're just in time. I actually started a couple minutes early. And Kenny K, thanks. I'll take a look. Been working on some Ultra Sabers. Yeah, so the big problem on Ultra Sabers, Kenny, is that most Ultra Sabers, and I don't have one here to pull out and show you, but most Ultra Sabers only come with one switch hole. You know, and if you're wanting an auxiliary switch, sometimes you have to be creative. You know, I think that Ultra Saber's Spectre is, you know, pretty awesome hilt. But I needed it to have a second switch, and I actually jerry-rigged a second switch in the control box where the bolts hold the control box down. I actually used one of the bolt holes to house a second switch. Yeah, and then I've done a couple other Ultra Sabers, and I've always had to do some unique thing or another to get those second switches in them. The other Ultra Sabers that I did, that I put the shroud and the control box on, I actually used a dual switch control box, but I had to really butcher underneath the shroud to get the two switches in the control box. But you can't see that butchering because it's underneath the control box, but it certainly involved a lot of machining. True 1777. So really quick, one of the things I wanted to talk about tonight, here's another tip or trick. I told y'all that I would try to share a tip or trick on every one of these Megtooth Monday videos. And tonight I was holding up my TFA Graflex. This is my Teensy Saber TFA Graflex, one with the metal chassis in it. This is a great saber. It's one of my favorite builds that I've ever made of all time. And yeah, I have a different wire that I use, Mike. I probably won't use Cal's when I get to building mine. But at any rate, what I want to talk about tonight is Graflexes and the Graflex Pins, namely. So there are tools, and you can buy these tools at the Graflex shop. And then I also ordered these, you know, deep well 1/8. I think it's 1/8. Yeah, 1/8-inch sockets on Amazon. This is just like a hand socket. And of course, these hand sockets work to, you know, remove these Graflex pins. You know, you can pop them out with that. But here is a tip and trick that I learned from Bombarta. Oh, I don't have one of the cross guards yet. I'm working on it. You can use a piece of shrink, and you can actually, I dropped the shrink. You can actually remove the Graflex pin with the heat shrink, and you can get them started with the heat shrink too, which some of those deep well sockets, they don't work well for that. Boom, heat shrink. And then once you get it in there, then you can tighten it with your actual socket. So I find that the heat shrink trick works actually better than the socket for getting them started. Heat shrink for the Graflex pins. That's awesome stuff. So yeah, we'll be, I'm hoping that the crossguard thing will work out. I think we're going to be golden on the crossguard thing. But yeah, I think that, there's different gauge wires you can put on those, and I have the ones that I tend to prefer. But that's getting kind of crazy when you're measuring that out. I don't think I want to talk about the DV6s yet. Now, oh yeah, so those Graflex pins are crazy, kin of the hill, and they're really small, and you drop them. Make sure when you're taking those in and out of your hilts that you're definitely over your workspace. If you drop one on the floor, especially if you have carpet, like this room is carpeted, and if you drop a Graflex pin on this floor, it's a nightmare finding them. And they're brass, so they're not magnetic, so it's a nightmare. Really quick, I showed this on a Facebook Live, and the True 1777 just happens to be on here. But since I haven't shown it on Megtooth Monday, I figure I'll show it. Let me turn on his Saber here and close this back up. So I'm waiting on some blade stock from the custom Saber shop. And yeah, it depends on which one you're using, but that shrink wrap is key. But anyway, this is the True 1777's TFA Graflex Saber, and he got his, I got Dark Side Engineering Graflex Razor Blade plug in there. Bam! There she goes. It's awesome. Full shine through on the glass eye. That came out really awesome. And of course I upgraded to the slotted screw here. Blade retention is in that recessed well. And that's it. Of course, we got his new TFA clamp card here, which is the translucent clamp card, and that one is from Sloth Furnace. So at any rate, that Saber is done, Mike. As soon as I get the blade stock in, I will build your blade. Mike's Graflex, not my Graflex. Next, just so y'all know, I'm not kidding around. This is my Proffie beta Saber. This is the one I beta tested Proffie 2.2 in. Well, I'm getting ready to show you a couple more. So DV6, let's see. This is the one I showed y'all last week. This one has the Goth 3D chassis with the 2 crystals in it. And I'll turn it on so you guys can see that. So that one's got the 2 crystals. This is Goth's chassis. And, when you light them up.
This party's over. Red, blue, carnival, purple, yellow. I find your lack of faith disturbing. I find your lack of faith disturbing.
So that's DV6-1 with the Goth chassis. This one is for a buddy of mine, Josh Church. He was in our bagpipe band. He was our first snare drummer. He's a Darth Vader guy, huge Star Wars fan. All I have to do is build a blade plug for that. But I don't know if y'all saw the paint job on the chassis. How do you keep the top D-ring still? You don't. It flops around, Kenny K. There's the painting on that chassis, which came out pretty good. It looks a lot different than it did last week when I showed it on the live video. So it looks metallic in person, even though only the crystal chamber accents are metallic. So that's the second DV6. Now, I'm sorry, the first DV6. Now the second one, this one has stock lit connector, and this one's already got a blade plug. And I'll take it off. Now this one has the stock chassis. And let me turn this one on. And this one just has a single crystal chamber, but I've got dual accents running on both sides of the crystal chamber. And of course, it's got the recharge port and an on and off switch. Yeah. And let's fire this one up so you guys can see it go. Which that's crazy. See the blade plug going? Of course, this one has the stock lit connectors inside there, which is pretty cool. And this DV6 is going to be for sale. Kenny K is crying. I don't know what you're crying about, Kenny K. No, these are both Corbanth V1s. I haven't done a V2 yet. These are Sabers that I had in my inventory, and they just been sitting around unbuilt, empty in the boxes, and I went ahead and built them out. And the reason I built these out is I want to go ahead and put them on the market and sell them, which the one DV6 is going to Josh Church, a buddy of mine. This one's going to go for sale on my YouTube channel, hopefully later this week. And the Graflex was for the True 1777, who's on here, which he is my business partner in the MyCom stuff. So basically, hopefully this week I'll have the one DV6 up for sale. Now, that leads to the next question, because I've been talking about, you know, a couple more Graflexes in the works. So I wanted to let y'all know they are coming. So there's another Graflex 2.0, which I'm getting ready to build out this kit, probably an ESB. And I have another one, 2.5, and I'm going to be building out that kit probably in TFA. The chassis is already done on those, and I'm ready to go. Basically just need to build those out, and then, you know, after that I'll be working on this thing, Phoenix Props the Light, which y'all know that. I've already done some work on it, which you can see, including shining it up. That's the chassis that's going in it, with a 26650 battery. That's pretty awesome. See if I can pop that off. You can see the 26650 battery in there, which I have it all test fit in there just right now. So that's kind of what's getting ready to go on. So Kenny K, I had bought, I guess it was around 6 or 7 of those kits, and I've been building them over the last year when I have time to do it. So those other 2.5s, I'm going to build those two out. Now I have one more 2.5 kit, and I am going to save that one probably either for a Scrap Flex or a Star Killer build. So that's what I've got going on. It's been busy. It's been crazy. A lot of Saber building going on. So I have blades to build. I have to build one blade for the stock DV6. And then hopefully I'll get the videos up for all 3 of those Sabers, the Graflex for the True 1777, the DV6 with Goth chassis for Josh Church, and then the DV6, which will be for sale. All of these are Proffie 2.2 Sabers, but I do have some Proffie 1.5s left. So these next Graflex kits will get Proffie 1.5, and there's really no difference between Proffie 1.5 and Proffie 2.2. Deep sleep, I mean, Frederick still hasn't enabled and turned off everything on Proffie 2.2, and the deep sleep's pretty good on it. And the one fault that was in the 1.5, he hasn't even turned that off in the 2.2 yet. So whatever standby time you can get on a 2.2, you can get the same standby time on 1.5. So right now, I don't think there's any reason not to build a 1.5. But yeah, so I'm churning out all these Sabers as quick as I can because right now I'm trying to raise funds for risky surgery, number one. And number two, I spent all last weekend working on my boat. When are you building something for you? All work and no play makes Megtooth go something something. I'm hoping I can build a crossguard for me, Jeff. That's my big hope. You know, I mean, I do have a Graflex to build in a New Hope with the, you know, high dollar chassis in it. I don't think I'm going to build that out until I move. I would like to get moved into my new house and then I'll build that out. And, you know, a crossguard, you know, if I can get hold of one of the KRO or crossguards, which, you know, I think that won't be a problem and we'll be golden. Right, Cole? So, you know, I'm really looking forward to that. That will be for me. And if I can get another one, then I'll build it to sell it. So right now, you know, I'm trying to build the Sabers to sell them to fund risky surgery and to also help out with other fiascos I have going on at the home front right now. Have you ever installed an 89 Sabers Graflex? I have not, but an 89 Sabers Graflex is similar to replicas like TGS. And actually, Corvant's new Graflex is the 89 Sabers Graflex. So have I installed a replica Graflex? Yes, I have. I have installed a Romans and also a TGS. So yeah, I would say even though I haven't installed an 89 Sabers, certainly I have messed around with a replica Graflex, which 89 Sabers most certainly is. Yeah, and I hope my live didn't interfere because I think Space Window had a live going on tonight too, and you know, fortunately, I had an emergency at work, or unfortunately, for you know the lost soul, it was an unfortunate night. But at any rate, I didn't want to interfere with Space Window's live stream because he was going to put out a live stream tonight. And oh, there's Space Window's on, so I guess his live stream's over with. So I'm glad I didn't interfere with Space's live stream. But you know, I like coming on here and talking with you guys and figure out what you're building and what you're using. And oh, hey, you know, I thought about another one, Jeff, is you know, the NerfWorks Labs Dark Saber. I do have two of those coming. I'll probably build one of those for me and sell the other one. I may end up selling them both. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, you know, and he also had some Graflex 2.5 kits last time I checked, Chet Osborne. So there's still some Graflex 2.5s. Yeah, I saw, Rich, that you just sent me a message. So I'm really looking forward to that because your Darth Maul type saber was pretty awesome. I love that thing. Oh, no. No, Space, I saw your live and it actually worked out because I had an emergency at work tonight or this afternoon. And I'm having to kind of stay on alert because if my work phone rings, I may have to go back into work tonight. So been a long day. It's been a long month. I'm I'm ready for all this mess to be over with. And this is a public service message. Stop killing each other, please, for the love of God. Oh, hey, look, check out. See that nasty hose thing behind me with a crazy yellow fume hood? I want to talk about that tonight. I forgot about that. So this is my new Saber soldering fume extractor, and it sucks in the smoke through here, and it goes through a filter box and ejects it away from my face, and it's loud. So no more breathing in solder fumes, which is good. So yeah, that's my fume extractor. Of course, I won't be able to run the fume extractor, you know, if I'm doing a build on camera. Safety third. I know, Jeff. Hey, I wear safety glasses too, Jeff, when I'm soldering, because you know, I don't know if you've ever noticed this, but when you're soldering, sometimes, you know, because I use core solder, and sometimes when that core heats up, you'll get like puffs of smoke, and I'm sure there's like little spritz of acid flying through the air when you touch the solder to the solder tip. And no, I don't use scented solder. And no, I don't want to breathe in that crap. So when I really decided that the fume extractor was necessary is the building mycoms. When I'm building mycoms, I mean, I am soldering wholesale. And saying soldering wholesale is no exaggeration. You know, I build the button boards from scratch, and then all the wires have to be soldered on the button boards, and then you're also soldering the ribbon wires onto our soundboard. So each mycom unit, I think I've counted, has like something like 86 points of solder on it, and that's a lot of soldering for each mycom unit. And you know, I'm sitting here doing them wholesale. Usually I'll do them, you know, in one sitting, sitting here doing for 10 hours doing nothing but soldering. So you know, there was a lot of fumes on the last batch of mycoms that I built, and I'm like, you know, I can't breathe in this crap because I was getting a migraine headache. So I got the fume extractor. No more breathing in that. You know, building lightsabers is not so bad because you're really not soldering that much. There's not a lot of soldering going on in lightsaber building, not compared to building mycoms. Building mycoms is a lot of soldering. Okay, Michael Dallin, thanks for stopping by. That's okay. You know, it'll publish later on, and life will be good. Life will be good. It'll publish later on. But yeah, lots of crazy stuff going on. Crazy stuff going on. Hey, so I know Birch put out some kind of a post about you know, starting this poop fan. So you know, keeping your sticks out of the poop, and hopefully I've been keeping my sticks out of the poop, and I'm not stirring the poop fan. But I'm gonna go #nerd up. Be nice to each other. You know, there's a new Saber group that started out there for new builders, and there's a lot of questions on there. And one of the posts, I was like, whoa, that's a lot of questions. I think that guy posted like 18 questions in one post. And I was like, well, you got to start somewhere. So, you know, a bunch of people answered them. And, yep. And, you know, if you guys have questions here, I hope we can answer them for you. I am not interested in the SID. It's too. I've never liked the SID hilt because it's too phallus. I don't know what else to say. It looks like an adult toy. So I've never been a big fan of the SID hilt. Don't like it. I'm not above installing one. I mean, I'd install one, but it's just not my cup of tea. I am 100% in love with Graflexes. Graflex is absolutely my all-time favorite hilt, followed by the crossguard. And you know, I've had a good strong look at Cal's crossguard. I bet it does, Jeff. I've had a good strong look at Cal's crossguard, and I can say that I do think that Cal's rendition of the crossguard probably is the best thing out there. I think it's better than the Phoenix Props V2. I think it'll drop the price on the PPV2s. I think it'll reduce the demand on those. So Alucard Craven says, where can I look at what you've got for sale? Well, the best way to do that is to subscribe to my YouTube channel, because the first place that I'll put stuff up for sale is on my YouTube channel. And if it does not sell after 48 hours on my YouTube channel, then I will post it on Facebook, on my Facebook channel. If it doesn't sell after 48 hours of being on my Facebook channel, I will then post it in the Facebook groups. Now, with that being said, none of my Sabers have survived 48 hours on YouTube. So your best chance to grab one of my Sabers is to, number one, watch every Monday, so you know when I have Sabers coming out. And I told you all tonight, there's a DV6 probably coming out this week if I get my package in from the custom Saber shop and I can build a blade for it. So there will be that Proffie DD6 with the Dimitri stock chassis and the Dimitri stock lit connector and Proffie 2.2 in it. And that's a Saber I showed earlier in the live stream. That Saber will be for sale. I plan on publishing that video on my YouTube channel when it's for sale. So like my channel, subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell, and when you see the Saber go up and the price is on it, then send me a message, because the first one to send me a message wins the Saber, and they go quick. One of my installed cross guards sold for quite a bit of money, and it sold secondhand for quite a bit of money. And I got a message tonight. So the last Corbant cross guard that I sold, I initially bought it for me, and when Cal announced his run, I went ahead and decided to sell it. And the guy that bought it, was in South America, and I don't have COVID, I promise. Oh Lord! And I got a message from him tonight. Lord, have mercy! I got a message from my customer in South America tonight with a cross guard, and he's been messing around with it. And he also ordered a cross guard from Corbant, which was also installed with Proffie. And he said, I don't know what you did. He goes, but yours sounds way different than I know I need to hydrate. I did just have something in my throat. Probably from working 15 hours today. Yeah, I don't have the COVID. I'm golden. But at any rate, Dominic, probably. I can't talk about that right now, but probably, and I'll be golden. I'm pretty sure. I haven't seen Monsters Incorporated. But at any rate, we were talking about Cal's crossguard and the last crossguard I built. That last crossguard I built that went to South America, I mean, he was real complimentary. He's like, man, when I swing this thing, it sounds realistic. It sounds better than the one I bought from Corbant. And that made me kind of proud. I do spend, there's a lot of people don't realize, but I try to sit there and tweak the sound fonts. I tweak the config files within the sound fonts to try and optimize what's happening with the accent swings and how they trigger. And I think I spend a lot of time on it. So when I put these Sabers out there, they're tuned to my ear, which I'm deaf. So I'm all the time halfway worried that, oh my God, I'm deaf. I hope I'm, hearing everything I'm supposed to hear and not hearing what I'm not supposed to hear. And this thing is right. But so far I'm pretty psyched about how my configs are going. I have not done an install on a Cal Kestis. Have not. I do have a Leia Saber on the way from the Rise of Skywalker, and I can't remember the website I got it off of, but I heard about it on Space Windows channel. Jedi, the one guy that's always on Space Windows channel, God, now I'm having another Alzheimer's moment. He had that Leia Saber, and I ordered the empty version of it. It may be LGT, Jeff, but that doesn't sound right. It may have been another distributor. Yeah, I want Cal's Leia too, but I wanted to take a look at this Saber because it looked, yeah, Jedi Gabe had one, and it looks pretty awesome. It looks pretty awesome on the internet. It looked pretty awesome when Gabe was wielding it on Space Windows stream the other night, and I ordered one. Yeah. Dark Wolf Proffie install. Fingers crossed. Cool, Cole. And Cole, I do owe you one. And once I get moved, hopefully I can pick up on that. I know there's a lot of Sabers out there. I haven't heard anything about the company Space. This is my first interaction with them. I hope they didn't basically take Cal's design and copy it or something like that. I know there was some of that going on, like Brit and Woolley did uh, a Star Killer, and one of those companies, and I don't know if it was DX, but they basically stole Brit and Woolley's design and were selling it as their own. And I actually ordered one of Brit and Woolley's Star Killers from that run, so I'm really hoping that works out. Yeah, Cole, I'm really kind of looking forward to see how your Dark Wolf goes. But things are looking up. On the home front, Jennaru and I, which I don't know if she's watching, sometimes she is. We went and looked at a house the other day, and I loved it. It's an awesome house, and I'm really excited. And it has an awesome workspace for me. That's not a bad deal, Cole. That's pretty awesome. Oh yeah, Rich, that hilt is freaking awesome. When you demoed that thing, I was like, I hear you, Rich. That thing, that is a cool saber. And it's MHS too, isn't it? Because I think that was on the MHS Builders Group, and you know, that's an awesome hilt. You did a great job on that saber. That thing looks awesome. Yeah, Cole, you got a deal there. But at any rate, what I was saying, because I know we're all in. Is the cool part about these is I get caught up sometimes watching what y'all are talking about. It was cool that everybody was talking tonight before I even hit the go live button. That was awesome to see. It's exciting. It's good to interact with each other in this way. The only thing I wish is I wish I could see all y'all's faces like in the screen, like we're talking to each other, and that would be really cool. But Jennaru and I looked at a house this week, and we're probably going to pull the trigger on it. And we may even pull the trigger on it before I sell this house. And then I'm going to be making dual mortgage payments. Oh, God. The best Kylo sound font, I'm torn between K-Sys Crossguard, but I'm always going to say K-Sys Crossguard because that was really the first smooth swing font that K-Sith ever made. And it was the first real commercial type smooth swing font. But I will also say that Kyberphonics Unstable is right up there with K-Sys Crossguard, Mr. A Gamer. Both of those are excellent sound fonts. A Zoom meeting. Speaking of Zoom meetings, and I'll get back to Zoom meetings in a second. I'm trying to get through all these comments. MHS. Yeah, it is MHS. Yeah, that thing is off. I can't wait to see that curved Shoto you did. 2651 precision nut driver inch 1/8 by 60 millimeters for Graflex pin has been an excellent tool. I have the TGS tool. You know what the problem is with the TGS tool? And I don't know if it's going to show up on video, but where it grabs the nut, it's actually recessed. So you really need to take a file of this thing and flatten it off, because what happens is the tool touches the black on the core before it grabs the nut on the Graflex pin. So that's why I didn't like that tool. I like the deep well socket better, which I don't know, I might have knocked it off. Who knows where my deep well tool went. Oh no, there it is. So that's my deep well for the Graflex pins, and that's my 1/8 deep well, and that one is just a better tool than the Graflex shop. Love it. See you, Mr. A Gamer. But Zoom meetings. So with school being out, all of Jennaru's daughter's classes have been on Zoom, and this one time, all these kids got on this Zoom thing, and it was like 30 kids on Zoom, all talking at the same time, and the teacher never even logged on. Never even logged on. It was just the kids all talking to each other, raising Cain. Where the heck are all the pixel strips? Ordered 2 months ago from BTF and AliExpress, still not here. Jedi Temple Guard, that has been a problem. Neopixel strips and that supply chain is still slow. And the reason is because pretty much 90% of the Neopixel strips are coming out of China, and shipping to and from China to and from the United States is still in quagmire because of COVID. Have I ever thought about making a wood Wookiee saber? I have not, Alucard Craven, but Frederick, the inventor of the Proffie board, is making a Wookiee Tana, and he has a thread on it on TRA, but he got so busy with Proffie 2.2, and now he's so busy with all the OS changes, he hasn't really touched it in a while, or at least he hasn't updated if he has. But that Wookiee Tana he's building is going to be crazy. The LEDs putting in there is insane. Yeah, I got one shipment in from them, but I still have like 4 or 5 shipments that are outstanding. I have enough Neopixels here to build the blade for the true 1777's Graflex in this DV6, but after that, I'm toast again until more strips come in. Unless I do have some 50/50 strips from BTF that I could use in blades, but I prefer not to use 50/50 strips in the blades. I'll use them in a 1-inch blade, but I will not use 50/50 strips in a 7/8 inch blade. And the DV6, of course, uses 7/8. At least the version 1 DV6 still did. No, it's not just you, Jedi Temple Guard. That's kind of everything. That's the way it's going. It's been tough sourcing Neopixel strips. You know, it's not been an easy go of it. But at any rate, yeah, the problem is they're just too close to the edge of the blade in the side shadowing. Yeah, it just doesn't work in a 7/8 inch blade. You really have to use 35/35s in a 7/8 inch blade. And I ordered some. This is kind of new news, but I did order RGB CW 50/50 strips for the upcoming Dark Saber from Nerfworks Labs for the blade. And basically, the reason that I want to run RGBW and I'm going to run RGB CW, which is cool white, and the reason I wanted to run that is that way instead of mixing RGB to get white, you can just run the cool white diodes and save on energy. And I figured that would make the battery last longer. And I've already talked to Frederick about RGBW support and Proffie, and I don't even have to recode the blades. Proffie knows if you're running RGBW that it just runs the white diode in the RGBW. So that's pretty exciting. Yeah, the 35/35s work way better in a 7/8 inch blade, Kenny. And in fact, you know, even in my 1-inch blades, I'm using 35/35s because I can get more cellophane around them. And the funny thing is so Space Windu is kind of like a light nerd, and he puts all his blades in a light meter box that measures the light output. And you know, Space uses 35s in his blades, and I know there's a bunch of people that swear by the 50/50s and that you lose brightness with 35/35s, and 35/35s have diminished blade color further toward the tip. And I've heard all those arguments, but at the same time, hey, Mundo Cabrera, but at the same time, if Space Windu, who's a huge light nerd and sticking these things in a light meter to test them, likes 35/35s, that's all you need to know. I actually love 35/35 strips. They're my go-to on 1-inch blades, on 7/8 inch blades, on everything. Love them. But I do have some BTF 50/50 strips here, which if I get in a pinch, I'll build a 1-inch blade with a 50/50 strip. I can make them look pretty good, but I prefer not to use them. But I do have some, so if I don't get some 35/35 strips in and I got to build a 1-inch blade, I'll do it with 50/50s. And I think the true 1777 was wanting me to build his blade for this Graflex with 50/50s. And, you know, I tried to talk him out of it. Oh yeah, 50/50s versus 35/35s. This is kind of like a frequent topic on my channel, so conveniently, I actually have them here. So this is a 35/35 strip, and this is a 50/50 strip. And you see how the 50/50 strip is wider, but look at the size of the pixels. So on this 50/50 strip, the pixels are 5 millimeters by 5 millimeters, but on a 35/35, they're 3.5 millimeters by 3.5 millimeters. So the 3.5 millimeters, I thought we had talked about using 50/50 strips, Mike. I didn't know if you wanted to or not. I plan on using 35/35s unless you say otherwise. But these are 50/50s. These are 35/35s. Space and I prefer to use the 35/35 strips in our Neopixel blades. And the reason is they're narrower. Now, the 50/50 strips, look at all the dead space on the outside of the Neopixel strips. That you got to realize, so that light is coming out of this strip in this kind of a fashion. It's shining upwards like this. But when that light hits this edge, you get this shadow that goes on the side of your saber blade, and the same from the other side of the strip. So you get this unlit shadow on your blade. Yep, we'll do 1-inch trans white 35/35s. That's the strips I got, Mike, for your blade. So that's what I plan on building. We had a conversation about possibly using 50/50s because everyone says they're brighter, but 35/35s are what I suggest. And the reason is these 35/35s, because they're narrower, you got to realize that light beam's going like this, but there's less strip on the outside of the Neopixel, so the light beam makes it further around. And then in addition, what I also do is I'll stagger the Neopixels like this. So this one will shine in the dead space between these two, and this one will shine in the dead space between these two, and etc. And basically, that's what I do. And not only that, here's another tip or trick for you. And the only way you get these tips or tricks is watching Megtooth Monday Live videos. Is I use, and here it is, I'm going to give it away, and I hate to do it, but if you're bold enough to build your own blade, I might as well tell you. On a 1-inch blade, I use 7/8 inch foam. And the reason I use 7/8 inch foam in a 1-inch blade is because then I can put the more cellophane on the outside of the foam, which helps disperse the light and make the light even on the blade. So when you ignite my blades, that light is wrapping around through the staggered 35/35, shining more around the strip than it would on 50/50s. And then it's going into the cellophane, and the cellophane's throwing and dispersing that light even further. And, if you watch my blade building video, the method that I use in my blade building video is what I'm still using today. I build all my blades that way. Now, I think Space is using multiple layers of heat shrink, where I'm only using one. I use one layer of heat shrink. Hey, Jennaru's on. Hey, Jennaru, we were just talking about the house. And we're also talking about Ella's Zoom classes that the teacher didn't log into. But at any rate, let's see. Light can't turn, Space Window says. Good info from Mundo Cabrera. I'm glad you liked it. That helps. True 1777, we're solid. 35/35s and a trans white going for your Graflex. If you get the waterproof one with the gel around, you can sand them for diffusion. I wouldn't get the waterproof ones. Get the non-waterproof ones. Ron's, I'm not using it. Just think you could make it a diffusion. You probably could. Woot woot, Jen says. Just curious. Ron, what were you curious about? I missed that. Oh, about the waterproofing and sanding it for diffusion? Yeah, you can. So if you watch my blade building video and Space Window uses similar tactics, clear heat shrink, and then I sand the heat shrink. The difference between me and Space is I put cellophane on the outside of the heat shrink, where Space puts multiple layers of heat shrink and then cellophane. I know I can get the blade tubes from TCSS. Where do you get the foam and cellophane? I get the foam from TCSS too. So you can get the G2, the Generation 2 foam from the custom Saber shop. Cellophane you can get at any arts and crafts store. So I get my cellophane from Michael's, and usually in the floral section or gift wrap section, you can find cellophane. And Space is answering a bunch of questions too, thank God, because it's hard for me to keep up. But I know that Space answered a bunch of questions. And you know, Space Windu and I have both built a lot of Neopixel blades. I mean, just this week I built 5 Neopixel blades. So, you know, I'm building blades. I build a lot of Neopixel blades. And if you count, you know, my Neopixel blade plugs, then God, I don't know. I probably built, you know, 200 Neopixel blades and blade plugs, maybe more. Yeah, Space Windu is the man when it comes to lightsaber blades. He runs civilized sabers, civilized age sabers, and Space does a lot of blade building. Yeah, the TCSS does have the Generation 2 foam. TCSS has that. Now, there's 2 different versions of the foam. There's one that's designed to fit 7/8" blade, and there's one designed to fit 1" blade. So hang on a minute. I think I have some blade stock. I don't know if I have 7/8" blades or not. 1". Oh yeah. So this is a 7/8" blade. This is a 1" blade. There. You can see the difference. So the foam designed for the 7/8" blade is narrower because the inside diameter is narrow, where the inside diameter of a 1" blade is 7/8 of an inch. So the actual foam for going in a 1" blade is thicker. The reason I use 7/8" foam in a 1" blade is so that I can pack more diffusion on the outside of my foam. That's how I handle that. You can pack more diffusion on the outside of the foam. And when I'm talking about diffusion, I'm talking about cellophane wrap. I don't know if Space does that or not, but I do. I know Space does multiple layers of clear heat shrink and sands the heat shrink. I use 1 layer of clear heat shrink, sand it, and then I use cellophane, and then I put as much cellophane as I can fit on the outside of the heat shrink into the foam. Once that cellophane heat shrink strips go into the foam, then I put cellophane on the outside of the foam, which Space Windu is saying he does too. And you know, you can sand the blades, but here lately I've been leaving most of my blades unsanded unless I'm seeing, you know, that they need more diffusion, then I'll sand them. But I tried lately not to sand them. You can trim the 50/50s. If you do trim them, you have to be careful. But let me give you a word of caution on the 50/50s because I happen to have a brand here that is not good. These are 50/50 strips. See how the pads are near the outside of the strips? This stupid camera that stinks. See how the pads are on the outside of the strips? You can't trim them if the pads are out there like that. Now let me go get a better brand of strips. Hang on. I'm not leaving. Aha. So these are BTF lighting strips, and the pads are closer to the center. See how they're closer to the center? So you can trim these strips almost to that transistor on this side, and then you can trim almost to the arrow on this side. But you can only do that on strips where the pads are inset like this. Because if the pads are on the outside, like on these strips, if you trim them, you're trimming, you know, the bad one. Yeah, I don't recommend trimming 50/50s anyway. I've had mixed results. You can make them narrower, but I've also destroyed strips by trimming them. It's a hazard when you start trimming them. You have to be careful, and you have to make sure that you get the 50/50 strips with the pads on the inside if you are going to trim them. If you have those strips where the pads are toward the outside of the strips, do not trim them, because if you do, you're going to kill them. And, you know, I learned my lesson on that the hard way. And hence why I use 35/35 strips, because no trimming involved. You know, I put them in my test setup. I test the strips to make sure they're working. Usually when I'm on the phone with Jennaru, and she's like, that noise is killing me, because I use a Prism test board. And then once I test them and they're all working, you know, then I wire them up and heat shrink them and put them in my diffusion, put them in the foam, put them in the blade, and off we go, off to the races. So at the very beginning of this video tonight, my screenshot was my test blade. I built a short Neopixel test blade, and find an Allen wrench. I had one right there. I'm going to take my blade plug out of my Dark Force Custom Sabers Transcendence and pop in my test blade. And I built this test blade because, you know, Jeff Birch and all the cool guys have these test blades to demo their sabers on their live videos because it's a shorter blade. You know, it's only about 18 inches long, and that way I can see the whole blade almost fits on the screen. That's my little test blade that I built for live videos and demoing people's sabers, and it's pretty cool. It's a lot more fun to swing around in tight area. I have not played with Proffie OS 4 yet, Cole, but I'm going to have to because one of the sabers that I built for my customer in Hong Kong, he got this is a KROR V2, and I actually put Proffie in this. It had Prism, and I converted it to Proffie. And it actually has a crystal chamber in there and everything. It has, you know, flash and LEDs. So everything it did with Prism, it still does with Proffie. And then you can see the crystal chamber in there. So I know, 10-minute count, Ron. He's telling me 10 minutes. Yeah, we're at 51:46. Birchie's going to get all upset. We're going past the time limit. We didn't even get to talk about poop sticks. I guess we talked about poop sticks a little bit. But yeah, Cole, we were talking about Proffie OS 4. So this customer that this saber was built for, which I just turned it off, he wants that gesture ignition where you turn it on by you know, stabbing the saber, and you turn it off by twisting it. And he also wants some of the new blade styles. So I am going to have to mess around with Proffie OS, you know, 4 point whatever it is on this saber. So yeah, it's coming. But yeah, he wants gesture ignition and gesture retraction on both of these because I also have an Mark 1 for him that I'm going to be doing stab ignition and twist retraction for him, which Matt McGurry just released his button mods, and there's a modification of his button mods that have stab ignition and twist retraction. So yeah, I saw that he updated his prop file already. I've already downloaded it, and you know, I'll be going to town on that and probably putting it on his MK1 and also on this V2. So, but these sabers were ready to go. They're ready to ship off to Hong Kong, but he wants me to update them, so I'm going to. So Tone, you see this video, you know I am still working on that and haven't forgotten about you. Tone has sent me a lot of sabers, and oh my God, just Tony would keep me busy for the next year with all the sabers he's sending me. It's crazy. But he's patient with me, he knows, and I've got, I think, 3 or 4 sabers ready to ship off to him once shipping opens back up to Asia. 7 minutes left. So I think everybody's staying pretty well drama-free, most of the users here, which is awesome. I went through some drama last week that made me mad on the Nerfworks run, but it is what it is. You know, to me, like if y'all are buying a saber from me, I'm not gonna trash you or trash your ideas or whatever. But it is what it is. Yeah, I'm trying to avoid it too, Space. I haven't been logging on to the forums and haven't even really been on Facebook much this week, but mainly because I've been busy at work. But you know, I try to avoid that drama. It's just not worth our time. You know, I think we should help people when we can help people. Daniel M likes drama, and I don't like drama. I got enough drama on my day job. I kind of love lightsabers because there's no drama. when I'm sitting here soldering, there is no drama. There's no one barking orders at me. There's no media dragging my name through the mud. Oh yeah, you've been quarantined for 60 days. I have not. You can come work my job. Yeah, I've been packed full of drama too at my job, and high drama today on the high seas, and it was not fun. But yeah, don't want drama in my for a safe and secure society. Yeah, that's true, Space, on multiple levels. We also try not to talk about politics on my channel. But yeah. At any rate, we are coming up on 1 hour. And Birch has just logged in. Birch is probably holding me to the hour. And Birch just released a video about redneck etching. And I was like, what the hell's Birchie making fun of me in an etching video? He won. But Birch's redneck etching video, it was good. A lot of fun. I watched that thing already, and I haven't even got into etching yet. Thank you, Mundo. Huh. He said he's been cooped up in his house for 90 days or 60 days and needs drama. I'm not ready to etch yet either, Rich. I am scared to death to drop somebody's high dollar hilt into acid. So for me, I leave that to the experts. Yes, Seth, you're late. Jedi Seth just signed in, everybody. Seth Weingar. And Jedi Seth makes some great sabers if you guys haven't seen his sabers. But I wanted to show you guys something. We were talking about etching. Might as well talk about etching. Y'all seen my brass flagship? Yeah. I don't know. There's the aluminum one. And in person, this thing is crazy. Look at that etch on that thing. That's insane. And it got my logo on there too. But Pete Sandoval from Pete's Powder Emporium, he did the etch on this saber and the leather wrap. And for me, not me. I can't do that yet. I'm not ready to etch. Seth, have you done some etching? Seth machines his own hilts, and Seth did a Jedi killer that was incredible. I don't know if y'all ever saw Seth's Jedi killer, but man, that hilt was crazy. And Seth does all his own machining, and Seth is just incredible at machining his own hilts. And if you haven't seen some of Jedi Seth's sabers, check them out. They're pretty awesome. Yeah, it is a nice logo, Mike. Thank you. So the True 1777 actually made my logo. The Megtooth Sabers logo. It was actually designed by the True 1777, who's on the stream, and it's awesome. Yeah, Rob. You can just do the one button, especially now with all the gesture controls. Pretty much a lot of the one button mods support pretty much all the features that you would get with two buttons. But if you don't use the two buttons on Proffie, you do lose some functionality in Proffie. And I was just never willing to lose that functionality. Now, with the Leia Saber I'm going to be installing, Rob, it only has one button, and I think I'm going to use the one button support on that. And a lot of the stuff that you lose, I'm going to use gesture support for. So I am going to be doing a one button Proffie install, and that will be the Leia, and that's a secret present for a secret somebody that's near and dear to me. Dark side of the Force is the pathway to many abilities some consider to be unnatural. Yeah. Finished my first Saber for my son's 3rd birthday. Wouldn't have been possible without your help and videos. Wanted to thank you, Jedi Temple Guard. You are welcome. I'm glad we could help. And, there's a lot of different videos on my site. There's a lot of different videos on Hexec Custom Sabers site. And Space Window and the forums, and of course the Facebook groups. So there's tons. Oh, there is a hidden second switch in that Saber, Jeff? I thought it only had one. But, Mondo respect for guys like Jedi Seth that machine their own hilts. And, true Sabersmith, he's machining his own hilts. So I got the 1 minute warning from Ron Davis, and Jeff's watching. Yeah, no, we got to, oh, no, it's past 1 minute. We're expired. I'm at 1 hour and 15 seconds. But I guess we need to cut it off for tonight. We've talked about plenty. Besides, I need to go call Jen because my life and my love is more important to me right now than talking about Sabers. But we do need to talk about Sabers every Monday. And we'll continue to talk about it next Monday. And, love you guys and keep building awesome Sabers. I love watching your Sabers. I try to comment and like all the Sabers that I see you guys building. And it makes me proud when you guys light up a Saber. If I had any help to do with it or anyone else did, that's a smile on your face that's hard to wipe out. Oh, yeah, I'm happy, Seth. I met a great girl, and my life is going good. As soon as I get out of this house and get into my new house, it's going to be really awesome. And if I buy that house we looked at last week, oh, my God, I'm going to have a nice workshop like Birch. I'm going to actually have a window, instead of being cooped up in this corner. And I'm pretty excited about it. And, anytime you guys need help, bring your questions. Bring your questions on Monday, and you look at all the people that are on this right now, because this isn't just me. I mean, there's guys on this stream that know a lot more about me. Like Jedi Seth knows a lot about machining. Jeff knows a lot about etching and installing Sabers. And you had Tony Singh's on here. Tony, did you get the update on the V2? That's your V2, Tony. I'm going to be putting Proffie OS 4.0 so it gets gesture ignition on it. So gesture ignition and turn it off on the twist. But I have to go to Proffie OS 4.0 to do that, and I didn't want to do that until it's released. So that's the holdup. But that's your V2, Tony Singh. That's your V2. So hopefully you see that and heard that, and do the same in your MK1. But yeah, there's a lot of guys on these streams that can help answer your questions. So bring your questions. Let's build more Sabers and expand the community. And thank you everybody for watching. Of course, as always, if you like my videos, they help. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Try to be here every Monday, usually at 6:30 or 7:30 when I don't have an emergency at work. But yeah, Space Window is a great resource. And, tune in next Monday. Sweet. Tony, you're killing me. I've got like 20 lightsabers here with your name on them. You're killing me. Tony's a great guy. I do have a lot of his sabers. The Yoda I'm building is going to be for him too, and I'm doing a lot of the machine work on that right now, trying to get the speaker to fit. But that's it. We've been on for an hour. We'll see you next week. Bring your questions, and we'll try to bring you answers. If I can't, hopefully somebody else in the stream can. There's a lot of resources on these things. And tune in to Space's videos, and also check out HexX Sabers videos. And everyone's just killing it on building Sabers during this lockdown that we're in. So thank you everybody for watching. Tune in next week for another episode of Megtooth Monday, and hopefully we'll be releasing some Saber videos this week. May the force be with you all. That's what Space Window would say, or the dark side, as it were, which is what I would say. We'll see y'all next Monday. Peace out, guys.